Go.
What you been up to, Olivia? What's been happening?
I'm tired, man.
Nice.
I got all these client who pay for services, and we didn't give anything for month. We just show up now all together at the same time. So it's just been hectic. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do as much growth work I want to, but yeah, it's been like a lot of development for the indoor playground guy. So it's working good with moving them through the pipeline with the team. So yeah, that's a good part. So that should be okay. But I need to spend time on building the package. I really need to invest some time in that, but I haven't been able to with all this client work at the moment. So. And I have to say, I put on myself as well that I took that course to basically learn to create digital products, and as well learn to become someone who can offer to launch digital products for people and help them in their creation. So at the three different level of digital asset, ebooks, and pre-recorded courses, because that basically comes to tied up with GoHighLevel to upgrade them into as well. So I thought like, oh, that's a good way, and at the same time that allows me to create all my first level for my ladder funnels that I was always struggling with. So yeah, so that's that's another thing that I put on my plate to go with. So yeah, it's not helping me slowing down. But yeah, I had to think about because we have a thing at the beginning of the training about a whole questionnaire we make you go through to we call that the alchemy of self. A little bit like what we did with that exercise you made us do with ChatGPT to have a aligned business, but that's the same to gather a lot of information, and they ask you to put example of your dream house in that way. So I took my Hacienda style dream house for the background to be able to remind a little bit.
You have to hide that house from your wife, because I'm sure she probably wants like an igloo or something, right? In Norway.
I don't care. I spent 20 years in the Netherlands. I want it. I want the next 20 years.
Oh man, that's but yeah, just the one thing I would tell you is make sure when you're when you're building ladder funnels with it, there's something called a secondary payment, right? Which is not maybe what it sounds like. A secondary payment is basically what else the customer has to pay in order to get the outcome. Okay, so for example, if you sell them a digital course, they have to then open the course, they have to do the course, they've got to believe they're capable of actually implementing it. And
exactly.
then they've got to get the outcome. So that outcome is very delayed. Whereas if you put a service at the front end, the outcome's instant.
But that's why they explain also that it's you don't start by validating your unique value proposition, basically, because that unique value zone. You don't start validating that with the pre-recorded course. Basically, it's the third level in depth. First, you do like a digital product, which is a very quick product to consume. And I understand your service thing as well, which is very good for that. But it's just another income stream. That what I like is he opens possibility of complete hybrid and commission-based service, which basically I just do what I know to do, and I use the leverage of the audience who already exist for some content creator, which are already with the audience, but they are not at the level of a super big one, like with like a range of 40,000 followers, for example. And then but who have trouble monetizing that and help them monetize it. So that's more that, yeah.
That's funny, actually. That's the exact conversation Duncan and I had yesterday. They literally told him to go for. I said to him to go for YouTubers because they have to put a lot of effort into it, and I told them that they struggle to monetize, and they also don't want to change their content to have a pitch in it, right? They, the way they get exposure reaches by not having a pitch. So if you build ladder funnels and things like that and run ads, all of a sudden all the subscribers are retargeted naturally, and you're making a pitch without making a pitch. So it's a really good asset for them. So he's going to actually he wants to have like a high ticket offer as well, just as an option for cash injections, 5K per build out. So he's going to try and get 2 of those from you. It's weird though. I had that exact conversation, literally what you just said yesterday with him on the Tuesday call. But all right. We have about 2 minutes or so left before we just give people a last minute chance to hop in, mainly because the emails are usually delayed. Landing in inboxes because of the size of the email list. So before we dive in, does anybody have any questions they wanted to cover before we go into this training? Feel free to ask in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself and ask, feel free. Anybody at all? I thought it's all good as well, but of course, I'd like to give you the opportunity. Anybody get anything? No?
I've not got a question, but just to say I've just set up my first lot of the hyper personalization thingies. So yes, created those. So I'm just kind of, that's going to be my next step now. The rest of the week, kind of get those. Got my spreadsheet of contacts, so get those loaded in. Just see how that goes. I've also been sending more DMs this week. So is it Wednesday? So I think I managed 2 days where I was doing the 15 DMs a day. So yes, I'm just trying to kind of stay as consistent as I can, but it's never perfect. Always 80% or so. So so no, I'm interested to see how that hyper personalization tool. I've just been reading the responses actually that it's come up with, and they're good. So yeah, interested to see the results of those.
It's all just a consistency, because you have those days, right now for me I am literally slammed from like morning all the way until like 10 p.m. at night every day, right? It's just this week because I'm traveling, so it's crazy. Like, it's getting those pieces of content posted is hard, but I'll try and do 1 per day instead of 2, and just to keep the momentum going, because it's more important that you just keep that momentum going than it is that you're perfect every day. So even if you can't get it done every day, well, just whenever you can get one of them out there, much harder to restart something from 0 than it is to just restart it if you've been doing it as 80%, much easier to do. So yeah, and honestly as well, like, obviously we all want to build lifestyle businesses, and that's the goal behind what we're trying to do, so we can have that freedom. But there's levels to the level of work ethic, and I know, Christina, you've been relatively recently in here last couple of months, but I come over to Charlotte every 4 or 5 months or so, and every time I do it, this particular guy that I meet and his business and what, it just blows my mind as to how, like, the work ethic, how fast they move everything, how, like, the intensity of everything and all the success that they have, it's a result of all of that, right? And it just gives you that sort of shock of, might seem like we do a lot, but we don't, nowhere near it. And so we've got a lot of runway, right? And it doesn't mean we have to have our lives just working all the time, but it just shows what's possible. And the reward is possible if you just put the work into it. So yeah, it's about being in the right boat as well, right? Being in the right vehicle, which is something we're going to see today. But the vehicle is very important, because that's what dictates your lifestyle, So we work hard to build, but we build the right thing that allows it to be not completely passive, but as close to passive as we possibly can get to, So it's about building fast and well in the right boat. That's the secret to it.
Sounds good.
But yes, yeah, so don't worry, just keep the momentum going. Keep the momentum going every day.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any questions before we dive in? No? Okay. All right. So let's dive into today's trading. Now, there's people joining every couple of seconds here, so I might be hopping back and forth between different tabs. The reason this happens is because the emails are often, as much as I send them at quarter to the hour, the system delays them for some reason, just due to volume. So this will probably keep happening. So yeah, if I go silent for a second, I'm likely just letting someone into this meeting room, and I'll be back with you in about 5 seconds. All right, so today we're going to be diving into essentially an overview, a bird's eye view with detail of the entire system that we want to run, and essentially, as the headline states here, how to build a multi-six-figure business with one person and a VA. Now, people talk a lot about AI businesses, and AI's taking over. You can build $1 million business with AI, all that sort of stuff, right? I actually believe it's slightly different. I believe that AI is the tool that we use to make everything more feasible, right? So the reason we can build, I say multi-six-figure, right? That's because I want to make sure that you still have that lifestyle component, but you could easily take this same model and run it to 7 figures. But that's far easily feasible to do that. So don't think it's capped at this. This is just because, I want to make sure we have that lifestyle component there too. I got someone in the room here. So AI, I think a lot of people get it wrong. I really do. I think they truly believe it can take over everything, whereas really it's just a tool for us to go even faster. It's just a tool for us to be able to run a business with multiple revenue streams without having to have this entire operation. Now, I mentioned the client I'm essentially here to see this week, and I'll go in the office this afternoon. I was in yesterday. Basically, you go into that office and there's 30 people in there, and that particular warehouse probably does about 8 to 10 million a year, but there's 30 people, and it's the one big bottleneck that they hate. They hate all the people management. It's a very stressful component, right? There's always people doing something, or especially in the back of the warehouse, like leaving and things like that. And yeah, the revenue is great, but it's a very stressful business model. Very, very stressful. The way we want to frame this here, and the way we want to look at it, the lens that we look at it with, is how we create that business model where we can hit that 6 and 7 figure mark by leveraging AI as the tool that allows us to operate faster. And we also have a VA. And the reason I say a VA is because we don't require expertise. That's the secret. We don't require expertise. They simply click the buttons for us. That's why this is possible. So we're going to be diving into this, and this is going to show you the machine essentially, right? And of course, the offer structure, I'm not going to be changing the offer structure. I'm not moving the goalposts here or the shiny object syndrome. I'm going to show you how you take what we have and we actually structure it so that it becomes incredibly powerful. And not only that, it becomes a sellable asset for you, right? And what I mean by that is because this one person, which is yourself or myself, we're not actually needed. We're not needed at all, because this is just simply for setup purposes. So this means we've got a very high value asset that has no key man risk, essentially, because it's systems based, it's pre-built systems. Why is that important? Because you can sell it much more easily. Whereas if you have a marketing company, right, if you're running Facebook ads, a lot of investors and such look at that from a lens of, well, if we take the person who's running the ads out, which is typically the business owner, we've got to find a high leverage, high value talent to replace that. And it's very hard for us to do that. Hard to sell, the valuation goes down. With this, we don't have the same problem. And that's the magic of it. So let's dive in. Now, this is going to be the exact framework. We're going to be looking at the different offer structure, the ascension pathways, how we can automate the whole process from A to Z, and basically how we operate with the same model in 26 different niches. Now, I've mentioned the 26 different niches before, but I've never really dove into how the exact framework works, as in who does what, how does it work, how do we take myself out the business entirely? How can I sit here on this call with you? How can I fly tomorrow for most of the day, right? How can I be in offices and not actually be on hand doing something? How does that work? So I'm going to show you how we build all of this. Now, one important point here is that this framework is designed to be your North Star, right? This is designed to be that North Star. This is not something you have to have from day one, but this is what we're building towards. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. We're building a house. Brick by brick, we build this, we put it together. But just like I was saying to Christina earlier there, it's about the business that we're building, right? It's about the type of business, being in the right boat. We can work extremely hard. We can go very, very fast. But if you choose the wrong path, you're going to be in a business that you always have to work very hard for. Whereas what we're doing here is, yeah, we'll work quite hard. You know, what I'm going to show you, we work hard. I'm going to show you how we work hard. But it stops and the business keeps going. So it pays dividends, right? That's the beauty of it. So this is not something that's magically overnight. This is your North Star. This is the Holy Grail. This is what we're building towards. So bear that in mind as we progress through this workshop. Now, this has multiple revenue sources. We've got recurring revenue from multiple different income streams. We reduce the dependency on one particular component of income, and we've got scalable growth because our time is not tied to more customers. The more customers that come in doesn't really change anything that we do. We can acquire or bring in 3, 4, 5 customers per day, every single day, which if you think about that, it's a very fast growing business, but it doesn't change the operation at all. So it has that framework. And I'm going to show you how each of these components is created. This is going to operate as a clear framework. And I'm going to turn this, what you're going to learn here, I'm going to turn it into an SOP, just like I did for the sales training last week. I'm going to turn this into an SOP. So it basically becomes like your playbook, right? Whenever you are unsure of something, whenever you're confused or you're thinking shiny object syndrome, you have your playbook right there. You've got the reason why you do it. You've got everything that you have to do, just as if you're building some IKEA furniture, right? Or how all the pieces are constructed. You know exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. So there's no reason that you can't do it, because what you're going to learn is the vast majority is already pre-built. So pin this on the wall. This is the exact structure that your entire business, if you imagine your entire business in one document, this is what this is going to be. Now, this business model will become your identity because it creates simplicity and hyper profitability that nobody else can match. I've told you about the type of business that I've been in the last few days. Very successful, very, very successful. And I'm going to dinner tonight, and I know exactly what's going to happen at that dinner. The guy that I'm going to be with, his phone is going to ring about 50 times in that one single meal. That is not the way we want to live, right? That is the stressful way of doing things. The reason I say this becomes your identity is because you'll have a business that even the most successful people can't even match. Hyper profitable. Creates your lifestyle, allows you to be very, very passive, allows you to do what you want when you want to do it. So this training is designed to not be conceptual, but to actually give you the blueprint of the machine. Your task is then to work on putting the pieces of what you're going to learn together with our help, of course, right? We'll help you to do this. You've got everything that you need, all the resources, all the tools, all the systems, everything. You already have access to this. You do not have to buy anything. You do not have to do more, buy more, see more, anything. You already have this. I'm just going to show you how to put it all. A few key areas here. We are going to cover the offer structure, the niches, the component as well. So this is the entire model and I'm going to give you the workflow for each. So basically, if you think about like a production line, and each of these components was a production or part of a production, how do we put it all together? What does that look like? I'm going to give you that. And like I said, I'm going to turn it into an SOP. So you've got it on paper and right in front of you that you can refer to. But the good news is that we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We can keep this extremely simple and streamlined. So when we look at the different offers that we have, we're looking at the automation offers, right? We're looking at the AI employee, we're looking at database reactivation, etc. All of this stuff. We're not changing the goal, we're not moving the goalposts. I'm not telling you to do some different offer or anything like that. You're going to be using pre-built systems. It's very fast to implement, as you're about to see. And of course, 26 different niches. Now, you don't have to start with 26 different niches, of course. You can build up to that. But the beautiful part is the system is the same over and over and over again. So you don't have to change it. So here is the core offer framework. And this is just a refresher, as I know we've covered this and many of you will be familiar with this. We've got the AI employee, so voice and text. We've got database reactivation, so basically the ways we can reactivate dormant leads, or using different things like if it's in the HVAC industry, the winter to spring changeovers and things like that, right? The summer to the spring to summer with the AC coming on, all these types of things. These different reactivation campaigns based on seasons. Then you've got your review system, which is relatively self-explanatory. You've got your referral system and the lifetime value system as well. And we build this whole machine, this whole picture, this whole thing that we see here is the flagship offer, but you're going to see how we break this down into other areas as well. Now, like I said there, I'm not going to cover the detail of that particular offer because many of you are familiar with it. But if there's anybody watching this live here or watching the recording, if you do want more information on or particular training on the different offer structures, over the last 3 weeks, we've dove into each of these. We've got the lead generation components, we've got the sales trainings, we've got the offer systems themselves. We have live workshops just like this available for you that will give you far more information about the particular systems, right? So all of these videos, just like I was saying earlier, the building blocks of the house, they're designed to be put together. So that's how this works. Now, if you need those videos, you can get those videos. You can get them there. You just ask for them. We'll send you the link. They're all on my channels and they're in the portal, but I can just send you the link if you need that link. And of course, if you need any support with it as well, you can ask. Every Wednesday we're here. And if there are any questions, just let us know on that. We will continue. So we install the same system across the 26 different niches. The good news, like I said, is that you have all this already, right? You've got the AI employees, you've got the database reactivation, etc. Everything is pre-built for the different types of niches. All of them are custom as well. So you can become niche specific, except at scale. That's the beauty of it, right? And these lead generation systems that I'll show you how we set up, there are 2 systems we set up. We just replicate it, run in the background, day in, day out, over and over again. That creates a really, really powerful system. It creates something pretty special. But this one, this offer structure is going to have a little bit of a twist to it. And like I said earlier, this is your North Star, okay? So there's a little bit going on here. There's going to be a little bit that we dive into, but this is your North Star. Do not feel overwhelmed. Do not feel like you need to build all of this on day one. This is the holy grail. This is the future. This is your retirement, essentially. Because I'm going to show you how we make this your retirement as well. No matter what age you are, this can be your retirement. You can retire at 30 if you want, or you can retire at 60 or 70, whatever, right? But the point is the cash flow is going to be there, and the cash lump sum can be there too, based on this model. So the reward is worth the work. That's the secret. We're building things up here. Now, as I said, there's a little bit of a twist to it. Now, we're going to have two profit sources driving everything. We've got our flagship done for you offer, which is typically that 1K, and you could do it at 2,000 a month if you want to, or you can do it in annual plans, whatever you please. That is our higher ticket cash injections. And then we've got the lower ticket monthly recurring revenue systems as the second source. Now, what you're going to find is this is great, right? This is initially you're going to think, well, I want those $1,000, 2K per month injections every month. I want that. Of course I do. But as time goes by, as you see things, and as I'm going to come on to in a few minutes, you're going to want to gravitate towards this. Everybody does it. Everybody. Everyone starts here. Their mind is here. Everyone ends up here as their key focus. The reason for that is because this becomes incredibly passive. This becomes your source where you can go on vacation, you can do whatever you want, you still get paid. Doesn't matter what day it is, doesn't matter what time it is, you still get paid. You can automate that process. You can automate everything. And again, I shared in the chat very, very briefly, but I did share in the chat that we've got something coming for you all that will make this even easier for you. And it will take care of all your customer service, every part of it. So you can bring people on, you can load this up with hundreds of people, and it will still be very, very manageable with one person and one VA. That's all it takes. And the VA doesn't even do your customer service. So as I said, you're going to probably start here, but you're going to end up here as your focus. So these are the two revenue streams. Now, you've got your flagship offer, which is the 1K to 2K per month. As I said, you can do this annually if you want to as well. And we essentially install the whole system into a customer's business, right? You've got AI employees, database reactivation, reviews, referrals, and lifetime value systems. We install this entire system into their business, and this is our managed plan. So we actually just take care of it all for them, right? When those seasonal campaigns come around, whether it's Black Friday, if it's Christmas, if it's as I said, the spring to summer or the winter to summer changeover, those types of niche specific seasonal events, if it's storm repairs, all these types of things, all of them, we have campaigns built out specifically for those types of events, right? Which means these business owners can just exist doing their work, but they're prepped for every single season that comes along. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to worry about it. They have customers being marketed to in that particular season with the exact offers that they're going to respond to in that season, but they didn't have to think about it. Now, remember what I always tell you. It's not about the benefits. It's about removing them from chaos. So if they're sitting there, they think, oh, Black Friday is coming up, or, oh, I've got the winter coming up. I've got to run a campaign for that, but then I've got to do this job and I've still got to make money right now. I can't prepare for the future. That's chaos energy. That's chaotic. Whereas we can remove them entirely from chaos because they know their entire map, their entire year is already planned out. They can just focus on what they do best. Why do we do this? Well, we do this because they retain as a result of it. You're not losing customers or clients all the time. They retain because they never want to re-enter the chaos. Then you've got your $97 per month offer, right? This is I call it your semi-DIY, because the reason I say that is because if you try to have well, first of all, let me explain. This is your $97 to $197 per month. You can even go up to $297, have like an ascension path with different tiers in there if they want to upgrade. But essentially what this is, it's a self-service model. So it's a do-it-yourself model, lighter touch from your side, and you can pack as many people into that as you want and it will not break. Now, what we do is platform and setup and activation basically, right? And an AI employee. So the service is an AI employee. We give them all the software they need and we set it up for them. Now, if it's a smaller business, we can do it for $97 a month and we just include the usage on top. If it's a bigger business, we can go 197, 297, and just do the unlimited usage, so we don't have to worry about it, right? That's that $97 per month on GoHighLevel, the AI employee unlimited usage type thing that they have. That's how we do that. So we just don't even have to worry about it at that point. But it is, the reason we set them up is because if you bring a business on, remember, again, it's all about removing from chaos. Even at this stage, we have to remove the business owner from chaos. If you ask them, you might give them the outcome that they want. Yes, we want an AI employee. Yes, we want to do this. Some of them will be in enough pain to figure it out themselves. They'll say, oh, I could do it. I can follow the instructions and set it all up myself. But many, many of them are already in pain, and setting it up is another form of pain. It's more pain on top. So they don't want to set it up. So if you try to get them to set it up, you're going to lose them. Whereas if we just set it up for them, we remove them from chaos. And the outcome, which is why they're buying this, which is, they don't want the customer service issues, etc. They are completely removed from chaos, and they get that outcome very quickly. So that's why you might think, well, do I charge a setup fee? What should I do with this? Should I charge? You can charge a setup fee if you want to. Would I charge a setup fee? Well, the way I see it is, I want people entering this offer with the least amount of friction possible. I don't care about making money in that first month. I don't care, because the amount of money you make over the course of time, because the customer retains, is so much more, so much more. So for me, I want the lowest friction path possible to get them into this offer. So I'll just set them up. I'll get them set up, and the systems run. They're removed from chaos instantly. They never want to return back to the chaos. Therefore, they stick. That's the magic. And I want to really stress it. Chaos is in every business. For example, and you might just think, oh, they're stressed out, their phone's always ringing. No. This goes far beyond it. Just like we did on the sales training last week, right? This goes far beyond this. This client I'm seeing, I was speaking to basically the front desk plus the operations manager. And because they have had some reviews recently, right? And those reviews were not as favorable, but they were nothing to do with the business. The review literally said, I tried to call you and you never answered. The customer called at 9 p.m. and they closed at 6. The team have to go home. It says their opening hours everywhere. Even the voicemail says the opening hours, yet they still received a bad review on Google. They have had customers try to drive at random hours when it's dark and say the street was too dark for them to pick up their order. They can't control the street lighting, right? That's a city type thing. But yet it resulted, and they tried to call the business, they couldn't find it, yet it resulted in a one-star review. This all happens after hours. Chaos happens after hours. These reviews happen not because you take care of someone, but usually when someone has some crazy problem that only they could come up with, and there's no communication because they are not necessarily rational in that time. So these reviews happen when they can't communicate with customers. The reviews impact them. It reduces the revenue naturally because less people order because they've got these reviews. And people don't necessarily read every review, they just look at the star rating. So a 1-star review can really have a big impact. So this goes far, far beyond just missing phone calls. And I think this is really what a lot of people miss. It's not about answering phone calls. It's not about an AI that answers the phone around the clock. It's these outcomes. It's these secondary impacts that it all has. Really, really painful, really problematic. So the reason I tell you that and give you that example is because if we remove that customer from that chaos, from that risk of bad reviews and such due to no communication, because people have to sleep and have a life as well, it removes them from chaos. Do they want to go back and take that risk again for the sake of 97 or 197 or 297 a month? No, they don't. They don't want to go back. And if they do, All it takes is one simple cancellation flow to flip them, to remind them of the chaos, and they just stick. So this is incredibly sticky for you. You just have to think about it the right way. And this is why I say platform set up AI employee, even at these price points. Now, the good news is we can automate the customer acquisition and then simply have a quick onboarding call with them or an onboarding form to get it set up in their business. You can streamline that whole process. So that's the second tier. Now, this is the monetization structure. Both of these will form a significant part of your profit. You've got the higher ticket cash injections flowing in, and on top of that, you will have automatic payments flowing in daily from this, right? Every single day. So you've now got two revenue streams that operate and act differently. The reason I say they act differently is because this one retains customers because they don't have to think about the future marketing campaigns. It's not because they need an essential service, it's because we've removed them from that chaos. It's completely taken care of. As a certain type of customer ascends to that level, everything is taken care of. That is why they retain. And it's not because of price. So what that means is if you are only selling, for example, this offer, and you try to close everybody on 1K, 2K per month, whenever there is a shift in the economy, whenever the belts tighten or the purse strings tighten, you're going to feel it because you're going to have some customers that are very price sensitive rather than, or more so than others, which means when that happens, all we see is that expense and they cancel. This is the plan that takes care of that for you. So we're not pushing the more price sensitive customers into this plan. This is the ones that want everything taken care of, the easy life. This is the one that's far more sticky for customers that are a bit more price sensitive. This allows them to have the same outcome, be removed from chaos, simply because we can set it up for them, get them active, remove them from that chaos. But whenever the purse strings do tighten, that amount of money is not worth entering or re-entering the chaos again for. That's why that works. It retains for a different reason entirely. So that means no matter if the economy is booming and you've got lots of people that want the easy life and everything taken care of, this plan booms. If you are in an economy where the things are getting more expensive, you'll find this plan booms. But if you have both of them, you've got the best of both worlds. You can ebb and flow. Whatever the economy shifts, whatever happens globally, fuel prices, etc., it doesn't impact you because you're always going to have people that want the easy. Something they want to re-enter chaos for. That's the beauty of it. That's why I say this is the holy grail. You're protected as much as we possibly can be from market conditions. Very, very few businesses can actually say that. Very few. But this creates that level of protection for us, that level of safety to diversification. So let me just let someone in here. All right. So diversification leads to strength within your business. It is incredibly important. Now, a very important aspect here was if you were to pack the 97 or 197 or 297 a month plan, where you do set them up, let's say you do set them up and all is well, they're good, but they've got a few issues along the way, or they want to make a few quick changes or whatever that might be. You might think, well, if I've got 100 people in there, customer service is going to be really tough. That's going to be so difficult to deal with. Well, this is where we can actually install AI. As I alluded to, this is something I've got coming for you, right? Where you can have the AI installed into GoHighLevel that will take care of all the customers because it's completely trained on the systems, telling them how to do everything whenever they want to do it. So you can load up these plans, 97, 197, 297 a month. AI can take a lot of pressure from customer service away from you. funnily enough, just as Christina was saying in the chat, and I think Olivia as well, with all the requests he's getting from customers that are not paying him enough, it's a big problem. It's a big problem, right? But we can take that away because we can pre-train AI that sits within GoHighLevel, that knows the platform a lot better than GoHighLevel itself does, knows the systems, knows what they're trying to do, and can just take care of them. So it removes the pressure. This means you only deal with the urgent stuff, which is a lot less. That's the beauty of what we have. Now, what this framework does is it allows you to build up the revenue without needing sales calls all the time. It doesn't matter if you are working, sleeping, on vacation, your business can still build and grow. Then those customers who are on your 97 or 197 per month plan can ascend at any moment. Everybody thinks they have to ascend instantly or upgrade or take the upsells. No. That's completely incorrect. What you'll find is that people will come in, they'll get set up on these levels, then naturally they'll want it all taken care of for them because they see the light, they see the removal of chaos, they see that their life is a lot easier. But they've now got, oh, what about Black Friday? Oh, wait a second, you can take care of that. You can take care of all the different seasons and have it all running for me. I don't have to worry about anything. Well, I want to do that, definitely, absolutely. They can ascend as the pain builds throughout the year at any point. And hey, if they don't ascend and if that price point is the problem for them, you've got the perfect downsell, where you can do a hybrid of the two together. So the reality is, throughout the year, whether you do it through running workshops, whether you do it through email campaigns, whether you do it through certain promotions, as people within this tier or any entry-level product grow and build, they start to convert along this line throughout the 12-month period. Throughout the entire year, they're ascending. Everybody thinks they have to ascend within 30 days or 14 days or whatever, or something doesn't work. That could not be further from the truth. It happens constantly, but nobody ever realizes it. So yes, that is the beauty of this process. It pays and your income and revenue grows without you really having to do too much. We just keep filling this up, and naturally people come into these other plans. That's the beauty of it. So when you have this framework set up, you have income constantly flowing in. It doesn't have to be instant ascension. It's a robust business where you have cash injections throughout the year. This is the business that nobody knows exists. If you create this model, your life will change. It will change. And it will look different to everybody else's life. The reality is, most people focus on that instant cash, right? They want that instant cash and they have no long-term vision at all. That's why you see people saying they've got that, if you've ever bought a product, right? And we've probably all been there. You've bought a product and it could be a $7, $27, whatever. And before you know it, you've got someone reaching out to you, DMing you, to then upgrade to the $5,000 thing that they have. Appointment setters are in your inbox constantly, simply because you bought that first product. That's not a good customer experience. That's not what you want to be doing. But so many people do that because they're so focused on the short term. Whereas, if you build this up, if you build it to a level where you have both of these avenues, you've got the smaller recurring coming in, your higher tier, and you may have that middle tier as well for any downsells. You don't need that instant cash. You don't need it because you've got the recurring that comes in 24/7. You've got a business that continues to grow and multiply without you having to put the pressure on people. You've got a really robust business. You've got a legacy business, as I call them, one that lasts you years, that nobody ever knows this exists, because they all focus on the next 7 days? Well, the answer is when you look beyond that. So that's the pricing structure we want to implement. Now, the customers ascend naturally into the offers, but you are paid around the clock, 24/7. And when you do ascend customers into the higher tier, like the 1K per month plans, it's warm ascension. Very, very different. Okay. You're not doing sales calls with cold prospects anymore. We're doing implementation calls. And the difference is that these customers know who you are. They've been in this world before. They know who you are. They've purchased, maybe even if it's a $27 product, they've purchased from you before. They've had a good experience with that because you treat them very well, you take care of them. And they have experienced the trust barrier being broken in a good way. Now, what I mean by that is whenever someone sees a product, pays money, puts their credit card information in, receives the product, it is exactly as they expected, if not better than they expected, or they got more than they expected, that breaks the trust barrier. All of a sudden, you selling to that customer again, much, much, much easier, much easier. So all of a sudden, you've got customers who don't need to know what the offer is, because if sorry, folks. I think I broke up there a little bit. Can someone tell me in the chat you can still hear me?
Yeah, he's been cutting quite a lot. Just comes and goes.
It's been cutting a bit.
Yeah, with some silences.
Okay. Yeah. I seem to have full bars on the internet, but I don't know what's going on here. If it doesn't work, I'll switch my signal to my phone or something, a hotspot or something. All right, if it does happen again or it gets worse, just let me know in the chat, so I'll switch over to my hotspot, okay? Okay. So, yes, as I was saying there, these are the same offers, these two. One simply gets the outcome faster, right? This one is just to get to it faster because it's all done for them. It's all planned for them. So you're not having to sell them anything new or anything different. You're just getting them to that outcome even faster. And they know who you are. So it's warm ascension here, right? It's warm ascension. Very, very different type of call entirely. Now, there's something special that happens with this as well. There's nothing quite like the feeling of spending a weekend with your family, enjoying yourself, not checking your payment accounts, PayPal, Stripe, whatever that might be. Then on Monday morning, logging in and looking back, and you made 2,000 to 3,000 without even knowing that you had over the weekend. That's a beautiful feeling. That's a special feeling. But it's created using this exact framework. That is a scenario that most people can't even fathom, right? When you get paid without having to actually do the work, in a sense, or having to be on the clock or physically doing any work. Magical, magical feeling. And that's what we're creating here, right? We're creating this ability for you to get paid 24/7. We're creating the ability for you to have customers signing up, upgrading with you throughout the night, 2 a.m., whatever that might be, while you sleep, yet your business still operates. Incredible scenario to be in. It really, really is. Now, what this also does is it removes the pressure on sales calls. You don't depend on sales calls anymore. Not only will you have automated recurring revenue with new customers setting up around the clock, quite often you don't actually need a sales call with the ascension to the 1K per month offer, because the customer already knows who you are. So their warm calls, their implementation calls, they're accelerating the outcome calls. The trust is already there. It's a natural next step for them. You don't have to put any pressure on. So all of a sudden, this is no longer a difficult sales call. You don't rely on the calls. In fact, oftentimes, you don't even need a call. People will sign up for this offer without you actually having to have that call. So the pressure, the reliance on calls is completely removed. So what does our lead generation strategy look like for this? Now, again, remember that you don't need this entire structure from day one. You build up to this. There are multiple lead generation systems we run, and we run them across 26 different niches. As I said, it's the same. We just replicate across the 26. It's the exact same system, 26 different types. Now, you start with one. You don't have to do 26. You start with one, and you put the building blocks in place. But the beautiful part is that you don't have to change. You don't have to change the system at all. So first of all, we have, of course, our typical email system. We have a workflow which allows us to have the system operating in the background. We have the emails being sent, 20 to 30 per day, high quality emails every day. We feed the automated systems the leads, and it sends the campaigns out for us. Now, there are a few options that we can use with this as well. There are a few options, but the idea is consistency. We want it to be very consistent. I don't care about being perfect. I don't care about it being magical or anything like that. All I want is the consistency with this. So there are a few different options that we can use. One of my favorite ones right now is the individual problem isolation. Now, I've said free here for your understanding, your fast understanding of what we're doing, but we never say free to the customer. Okay, that's for you. That's not what the customer sees, right? So what we can do is we can identify individual problems in the customer's business, simple ones, and offer to fix that problem in 60 minutes at no cost. Now, the reason I don't say free, is the perceived value, right? We need this to retain that perceived value. So this is where we say, oh, okay, I'll give it a few seconds to let it reset. I don't know what's going on because I've got full bars here. So
that's where you were saying, like, we identify a specific problem and then you cut at that time.
Okay, so we identify specific problems, and I'm just trying to remember what I said. As I often do these things free-flowing. The reason we don't say, thanks, Vince. The reason we don't say free is because it loses the perceived value. Okay, whenever we say free offers, free lead magnets, etc., it instantly loses the perceived value. So what do we do instead? We say we'll fix this problem for you in 60 minutes, and we won't even charge your typical fee. We'll just do it for you because it's a fast fix for us to make. So it retains the associate fee to the service. They're just not having to pay it. So it retains the perceived value. We never say free. The second we do, it loses the value in their mind. So we identify the specific problem in their business, and this could be, you can test multiple different ones here. Okay, you can test the review system. I like that one because it's so fast and easy to fix, and you can also pinpoint the problem publicly, right? You can see their Google reviews. You can tell if they have weak reviews, old, aging reviews, low reviews, any of those. you can tell publicly. Or you can give them a cash injection of sorts as well, database reactivation. You can help them reactivate old leads at no cost. The reason we can do this is because the implementation is very fast, simple, and easy. We don't have to put time into this, which we're going to come on to. So the reason we do this is because if we do this, if we offer to implement this system, they have to speak to us. They need to get on the onboarding call where we can then identify further problems and position the done for you managed offer to them. So if I'm getting on a call with a customer, I'm going to position the done for you managed offer, right? I'm not positioning 97 a month. I'll use that as a downsell, but I always start at the 1K per month fully managed solution. Then we can work on down. Price is the objection. So that's what we're positioning here. Okay, they have to speak to us. We can identify further problems. Now, if you need a refresher on the sales process, remember last week's call was all about that sales process. This workshop last week was all about the sales process. I'm just going to give it a few seconds here because I changed slides to make sure the connection doesn't drop. So like I said, they must speak to us on the onboarding call. We can expose the gaps in their business and we can position the done for you offer. We can position it as nice and easy. They don't have to worry about anything. And what it can do is it creates a natural urgency in the customer because we're offering to fix quite a painful problem. Say it was the review system, right? Say it was they've got no reviews or the weak reviews or dated reviews. Very painful problem because we can position it as they are losing customers to their competitors. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody does. Also, people have status. Everybody has status in their mind. Everything we do is based on status. If they have poor reviews, low reviews, they don't look publicly good, their status, their self-status drops, right? They think they look bad in the eyes of other people, which people don't want. So what we're going to do is we're going to anchor and leverage to this idea that they don't want to lose business to their competitors, because when I say lose business to their competitors, I'm positioning it as this is their business. This is the business and customers they deserve. They have, I'm implying ownership of that revenue without saying it, because I know they do. They think we offer a better service than our competitors. We do better. We care more. Those customers should be coming to us. Why are they not coming to us? So they've got a sense of ownership and a sense of they deserve it. So the second I say the business that you should be getting is going to your competitors because of this reason, they're going to pay attention. And then I can anchor again, like I said, to how they are perceived to the public. Customers won't trust the business. That creates a little sense of anxiety, right? A little bit of anxiety there. It gets their attention. So I'm using two anchors here, and that creates this natural, I have to fix this right now. I've got to get this fixed. They'll fix it for me in 60 minutes. I get this anxiety out of my system in the next 60 minutes. Okay, I've got to do it. And I don't even have to pay for it. So I'm giving them what they want. I'm giving them the fast outcome without what they don't want, which is to pay money to someone they don't know yet, right? So I'm removing the friction. Again, the reason is because they've got to speak to us. When they do speak to us, we can expose further problems, and then we can position the done for you offer. Now, remember, just this week, we released an SOP, which covers the sales call, which covers, it's basically like your cheat sheet, right? Your playbook. It covers that entire process. And it is basically that document you can pin for every call that you do, everything that you position or that you frame. It allows you to have that cheat sheet, that playbook right in front of you, which is going to advance your skill set. It's going to advance your capabilities. It's going to give you the confidence because you know exactly what to do, when to say it, how to think of certain things. You're going to use it in all your conversations in life, believe it or not. The way you position things, everything. We just released that. So remember, if you don't have access to that, just send us an email. We'll give you access. It doesn't cost anything. Just send us an email. We'll get the access over to you. The reason I have to do it like that is because I've got it as a PDF. So I just email it back to you attached as a PDF. So if you want that cheat sheet, just send us an email and we can get you taken care of and get it in your hands. So that's going to help you. And what it will do is it will also help you in the transition from the free service. Now remember, please remember, I'm saying free so that you understand quickly and know what we're talking about. We're not saying it to the customer though. So, but basically, how to get the person from the free service ascended naturally into paying you $1,000 per month or £1,000 per month. It's going to show you that transition. So that's in this SOP that we just released. Like I say, if you want it, just pop us an email and you can get it. So if they don't buy the done for you package on the onboarding call, we can transition them to the platform only plus setup, the AI employee platform only plus setup at 97 to 197 per month. So we can transition and downsell. Now, you can sell it to them with the annual plan, for example. You can say, look, it's going to be 1,000 per year instead of 1,000 per month, and we'll get you set up. So you get the accelerated cash flow. That's the beauty of it, right? So if you're on that call, you can downsell them through the annual plan of the DIY, or you can downsell, if they're still not go for that, you can downsell them to the monthly plan at 97 or 197 a month. So you've got 3 different levers you can pull on that call. Every call you can then make money from. So it's very efficient, right? It becomes very, very efficient. Every single call you can drive cash flow from. Now, you can add different bonuses. So for example, the 97 a month plan is the DIY, it's the setup, but it's an AI employee. Well, to sweeten the deal, to get them to close on the annual plan, what you can do is you can then say, and listen, if you, with the annual plan, we'll also run a cash injection campaign. So all those old leads that you have, we'll actually run that for you, get the first one running for you. You can experience it yourself. You don't have to pay for it. We waive the fee because you're on the annual plan. It sweetens the deal for them, right? And it makes that decision to go monthly versus annual a little harder in favor of the annual plan. So this is the foundation, okay? This is the foundation. This is how we do it through email. And the reason I say that is because with the emails, we can send them out automatically. We can book calls for the free service, right? The 60-minute fix, and then send the customer into any of those plans. Well, the 1K per month plan, and then downselling them into the other tiers. We can do that. That's how we do it. This is the foundation. That's your email system. It's very, very low cost to do this. That's why we do it. Very, very low cost. So whatever we can get from that, great, wonderful. I don't expect it to blow my socks off. None of that. All I expect it to do is to drive some revenue, some calls, some advanced cash flow, bringing in 3-4 clients per month or so as a nice foundation. Now you can accelerate that further, but there are easier ways to do it, which we're going to come on to, where we can have both of these systems running. So this is one where I just want it sitting in the background. I want it injecting cash over the course of the month, and it just runs month after month. And all we have to do is load it up with leads, 20 to 30 emails being sent per day. So that's why you want to do this. Now, the second channel is the ladder funnel system. Now, as we know, again, we did training on this, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago in the workshop, the Wednesday workshop. If you want a refresher on the exact detail of what we would offer in these products, have a look at that training. That's more in-depth on this. I want to keep this particular training on the entire framework because I've got a bit to get through here. So if you want more on that, refer to that particular training. But basically, a ladder funnel is a $27 front end offer, a $27 bonus service. Then you've got your $97 to $197 a month AI employee setup, plus the setup and installation, right? So it's the same structure. The only difference is instead of offering the review system for free, we can offer the review system for free. Customers in automatically throughout the night, 2 a.m., you will have sales coming in. People will be ascending naturally without you doing anything. This works around the clock. So this is exactly what we want. Just like we offered the quick 60-minute fix via email, the only difference with ads is that we can charge $27 and work towards immediately liquidating our ad spend. But the key barrier to entry here, the key here is to have a low barrier to entry, a very easy to say yes to offer. I don't want them to have to think about it very much. This is why I love to offer the service, just like I was talking to Olivier at the start here, okay? I love to offer the service here because they get the outcome immediately. There's no secondary decisions they have to make. If you sell them training on this front end, which is fine, it will still work, but there's more efficient and effective ways to do it. If you try to sell them training on the front end, ebooks, things like that, there's a secondary cost. Not only are they paying $27 to get the product, they then have to pay the cost of the time spent learning the process, then implementing the process, hoping they have the skill and the capability to actually implement it successfully, then get the outcome. So there's 4 different payments they've got to make there, right? 4 different payments to get the outcome. Whereas if I run a service here, there's no additional payments. 0. They pay the $27, they get the outcome. Simple as that. So I make the offer as easy to say yes to as I possibly can. That is the secret. That is the secret. Then, in that very same funnel, we offer a $27 additional simple service. So like database reactivation campaign. And then we offer the AI employee setup at $97 to $197 a month. This is within the same funnel at the time of purchase. Now, you're going to see that 20% upgrade to this naturally. That's the number, right? 20%. About 60 to 80% upgrade to this. That's the magic in these numbers. And it builds your monthly recurring revenue automatically within the night, 24/7. Your monthly recurring revenue actually increases. No business gives you that. None of them, but this does. Now, the reason we do this is because about 20% of your customers will upgrade. It also increases the average order value, which returns your ad spend the same day. So you don't have to worry about ad spend too much, even if it's a 20%. Say you spend $100. Some days you make $100 back on the very same day through the funnel. Some days you make 120. Some days you make 80. But you get to spend 100. And you're only actually spending, on the worst days, you're only spending $20. But you're getting the same effect of spending 100. That's powerful. That becomes very, very powerful. So you're acquiring new customers, you're building your audience, you're building your monthly recurring revenue with a very capped downside. Again, nobody else can operate like this. This means your monthly recurring revenue is building automatically throughout the day, around the clock. Your MRR grows as you sleep. But on top of that, you have a warm audience building up daily. New customers signing up for any of the products. You can then ascend them naturally into the 1K managed plan when you want to. You can run workshops, you can send emails, you can run promotions that automatically ascend them. So it doesn't matter if your top tier customers, the ones that ascend the most, will be in your $97 a month do-it-yourself plan. They will be the ones because they have more problems. Okay, you've opened the door. They want the outcome because they're willing to do it themselves, but they see that there's a little bit of friction, and they just want it taken care of. The trust is already there. So that's your prime. That they're the ones that are going to ascend the most. But you will also have a proportion of the ones who buy the $27 product and nothing else, eventually ascending. You will also have those people. So it's not just about you've got to get everyone at 97 a month. No. You will have people ascending at all times. And your audience is warm. They know who you are. And we'll come on to making this even stronger in a few seconds. But this creates this incredibly powerful flywheel. You have the email system up here. And this focuses on your higher ticket plans. Okay, this is feeding your higher ticket. This is feeding your 1K per month, and it's downselling the recurring plan, the 197 a month. It's also getting annual sales for those plans too. So you get this cash flow machine where you've got multiple different areas that you can convert this customer. So this is just working in the background, automatically bringing in those opportunities. Then you've got your ads. The ads are building up the mid-tier recurring for you on a daily basis. As you sleep at 2 a.m., your business is still growing. Your audience is building daily with new customers coming into your world. This operates around the clock. When this system is set up, it can operate incredibly smoothly, and you have this machine running at all times. So you've got two sides of customer acquisition, right? You've got your high ticket side that sits in the background and is very high ROI, so return on investment, very high ROI, because whenever those deals do close, it's 1K per month. And remember, we're removing them from chaos. So it's a pretty sticky 1K per month. And then, of course, you're maximizing the cash flow because you're downselling anyone who is more price sensitive. Then you've got your lower ticket. So think about it. You're bringing people in and downselling them. You're also bringing people in, different people, and upselling them, ascending them. So both sides of that coin, you're filling the pipeline. You're filling it up. You're building your audience. It's incredibly powerful. Really, really powerful. And then it brings us on to this content side. Now, as I said, remember, and I know I've repeated this is the North Star. This is the Holy Grail. You do not have to do this from day one. But it brings us on to the content flywheel. Because these systems are heavily automated, you don't have to spend a significant amount of time on them daily, okay? It opens up your time. Think about it. Once you have the email system set up, you can load it up with leads and it runs. It can run in the background. Once you have the ad system set up, once again, it can run in the background. You're not monitoring it every day. You're not changing things every day. That's actually a mistake. If you change things every day, it creates more problems than it actually helps. So you don't want to be doing that. You're not spending your time doing these things. It opens up your time drastically. So what does this mean? Well, we can make use of our time, or newfound freedom. This means that you can post 2 90-second videos daily on social channels. Now, this isn't going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to do this every day. But if we aim to do it every day, and you slip up on a certain day because you've got something going on, maybe you only get 1 video posted, it doesn't matter, because our consistency builds up that bank, that volume of content for us, okay? Once your time
We lost you.
truly time spent with you. Oh, did I break up again?
Yep.
Which part? What was the last thing you heard?
Doesn't have to be
Just
perfect.
roughly.
This is really
Okay.
very shortly after that.
Gotcha. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect. If you can simply post once one day and twice every other day, or something comes up and you simply can't post that day, as long as your goal is to get back on the horse, you'll be absolutely fine. You just reset. You start posting twice a day again. You don't have to go back and make up for it. No, you just get back on the horse. Because the effect this has is it creates this vault of content on your profile where your customers can dive into it and consume content and spend time with you around the clock while you sleep. They're nurturing themselves on your content without you having to do anything. All you did was post a 90-second video. Now, something very, very important here, very important. And I'm going to give it a second so it doesn't break up as I say it. I'll let the internet set up. So you do not want to overthink this content. You do not want to script it. You do not want to do any of that stuff. All you want to do is whatever thought is in your mind, all the ahs and the ums as you post the content, as you record it, all those things that happen, it's not perfect at all. That's better. You want it to be imperfect. Our goal here is for you to just have your personality as a real person on your profile. Because as you send emails, as you send ads, people are going to look at your profile and they're going to see that you're a real person that they can relate to, which creates this trust. So we do not want to overthink this. We do not want blockbuster style content. We don't want it to be perfect or scripted or all planned out. All you have to do is talk to the camera for 90 seconds about anything. Whatever the thought comes to your mind, keep it towards the subject matter, of course, but whatever thought comes to your mind, you don't have to edit it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. All you have to do is press record and stop record. That is it. The reason I'm telling you this is because the biggest point of friction is trying to create 2 perfect videos a day. Very hard to do that. So we don't. You will see in my content, when I post, you'll see me, I don't even edit the start and the end of it. You'll see me pressing the record button. You'll see me pressing the stop record button, right? I don't even edit it because it's faster for me to just do it. So this is very important. This is very powerful. This is very, very valuable. So I need to remove as much friction as I possibly can to ensure that you don't come up against roadblocks, okay? So we want it to be simple, raw, unedited, just talking. That's all you have to do. And then you can use the GoHighLevel scheduler to post it onto Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all those platforms all at once. You can just connect it. Off you go. It will post on your social platforms. So really your workflow here is to record a 90-second video without any editing and upload it to the scheduler. That's it. That's your workflow. So all these roadblocks that we have in the way of recording content, all of that stuff, it goes out the window. We've removed all the friction. And the final piece of friction is that you're afraid of the camera, or you're nervous, or you don't think you're good at it, or you don't think you've got a good voice, or you don't think that. How many times have you heard a Glaswegian accent? And if you don't know what a Glaswegian accent is, what you call people from Glasgow speaking, right? A very harsh accent. That's where I was born. Yet everybody else thinks they can't speak to, and I speak to hundreds all the time, thousands. It's never a problem, right? So if I can do it coming from Glasgow, you can do it. You definitely can, because it's definitely not as harsh as the Glaswegian accent, I can promise you that one. So all these roadblocks, once you get past the first few videos, you don't care anymore. I promise you that. If you get to the point where you've recorded, say, 3 to 5 videos and you felt terrible about them, all of a sudden, you don't care what you sound like. You don't care if it's not perfect. You don't care if, or what you look like, or how you think you look, or whatever that might be. You don't care about any of it, because after 5, you don't want to lose the momentum. So the thoughts don't matter anymore. So your goal is to get to 5 videos, 5 90-second videos posted. If you do that, all of those thoughts, all of those walls and barriers and whatever that might be, go out the window. You do not care anymore. So that's the content flywheel. Now you can record them extremely fast. They are supposed to be passing thoughts. They are supposed to be imperfect. All we have to do is 2 90-second videos daily, record them extremely quickly, speak to the camera, just have an idea. Literally sit there, think up, what can I talk about? Okay, get a topic in your mind, free flow. No scripting. Even these workshops, yes, obviously I have slides, I've got a bit of a plan, but most of it for me is free flow. I don't necessarily follow scripts. Like I have a script in case I need to know what's coming next, right? Because sometimes I'll say something and you might have noticed this and it appears 2 slides later because I'm just free flowing, right? That's why that happens. So sure, but again, I don't care about being perfect. Now, this creates your nurture content naturally. It builds up on your profile and it creates this lag effect, okay? This builds trust over time. So as you post and people see you everywhere, and you know they see you everywhere, they go onto their social profiles and there you appear again, just like Wade. You know, if most people in this call would have met Wade on these calls, but if you haven't, Wade is a member, and he's always telling me I basically haunt his dreams. He sees me everywhere, everywhere. I don't know if he realizes that whenever, because he likes all the posts, which is fantastic. I really appreciate it. He's very supportive, but I don't know if he realizes that when he likes it, it just gives it more ammunition, right? It's going to target him more. So I'm basically in this man's household 24/7 with the content that I post, but that's what happens, right? You just become everywhere, and it builds trust and it builds comfort with you. This is a lag effect, and it builds up and up and up and up, and that trust grows. And so your conversions skyrocket. It builds up. And give me 1 second. I think there may be a delay. Trust grows. Yeah, I thought that my mouse froze for a second. Trust grows, and the conversions skyrocket because they see an ad or they see an offer at one point, having already spent all this time with you, and the conversions as a result skyrocket. This is your nurture content. Now, the reason we do this is because it creates that nurture content. People see the ads, they see the emails that you send, they search on Facebook and Instagram and on YouTube for you. So that's what happens, right? If you're sending these emails, if you're running ads, they're then going to search on Facebook, or they're going to click your profile, or they're going to follow you, or they're going to search on YouTube and find you and watch the content, even if they don't buy. And this is part of the effect that nobody ever sees. Okay, everybody thinks if I'm not getting purchases, it doesn't work. That's wrong. There are many people who will see the ads, then go to YouTube, spend a week watching your content, and a week later purchase. It's the nurture process. That's why this is so important for you. This happens and you can't see that happening. You don't know that's happening. I know that's happening because I've got years of data to show me that happens, right? And I've asked people the question, what was your pathway? How did you find us? And that's the path they tell me. So this happens and you don't realize that it's happening. You think, oh, my emails aren't getting responses, but this person can't find you. Well, if you had that content that they could watch, they could nurture, all of a sudden, when you send that follow-up email, they book that call. So that's the magic. This is the lag effect. That's what that's called. Now, the lag effect is the number of people who are being warmed. okay, the number of people who are being warmed up, it builds up like a snowball. And the result is your conversions will go through the roof. You have the time to do this because it's your primary focus. You're not messing around with the ads all day. You're not messing around with emails because you systemize the process. You're also not messing around with customer service. You're not messing around with the setups or the systems or any of that stuff because it's all heavily automated. So all of a sudden, you have emails going out every day. You've got ads running, acquiring new customers around the clock. You've got content converting those who aren't ready to convert yet, building a pipeline of future customers, converting the cold into warm. This is your acquisition machine. You don't need people for this. It's heavily automation and systems based. You can even use the post scheduler to post one piece of content across platforms. So literally, after your setup, all you have to do is post 2 90-second videos per day and upload leads to the system probably once a week. That's all you have to do after you get past the setup. So you can see the reward for getting things moving and getting things built and set up is incredibly high. But if you never do it, if you never set it up, you never get there. You can see that you've got to take action with the setup. And then this starts working incredibly well. So the reason that we can do this is also because the fulfillment systems for customers or customer service is heavily pre-built, and it can be set up by a virtual assistant. The reason it can be set up by a virtual assistant is because it is pre-built. This is the important part. All the thinking is already done. They don't have to think. That's the problem that people have. People hire a virtual assistant to do their marketing for them, and it never works. Why? Because the virtual assistant, they tend to be execution focused, right? They want to get a task and have that task done. That's what they want to do. So instead, they're asking this virtual assistant to think and come up with strategies and stuff. That doesn't work very, very well. That's why people fall down. So you don't want to do any of that. We want to have all the systems pre-built. This means the virtual assistant can follow the checklist of onboarding, of getting it live. Done. It's set up. The pre-built nature is the power that you have. That's the secret. This means that they can simply follow the standard operating procedure and go. For example, the plumber system is already pre-built, right? If you look at the plumbing niche, the systems that we have are already pre-built. All the VA has to do to install the complete system, this is not the 97 a month, which is even simpler. All they have to do to install the complete 1K per month system is literally add the customer to GoHighLevel. So add the customer's details, like their business name and their address, things like that, basic details. Add them to GoHighLevel. They have to get a phone number. Usually you can either connect or typically the easiest way to do this is just to grab a phone number, buy a phone number on the system and forward the calls back and forth from maybe their business line. So forward their business line calls to the GoHighLevel number. That's usually the easiest way to do this. That's all they have to do. Get the phone number. They have to connect a domain name. So either they can connect the existing domain name, which is pretty easy, or you can just like the phone number, buy a domain name and forward the traffic. Next, they upload the leads and tag them based on the required campaign, whether that's reactivation, whether that's reviews, whether that is referrals, whatever campaign that lead segment needs, which is basically just on the onboarding forms, they upload the leads and tag them. That is all we have to do. This tag, launches the campaigns. Right, the tag launches the campaigns. They're not having to add people or do any of that sort of stuff or think about the campaigns. All they have to do is tag the leads and it launches the campaigns automatically. Then for the AI employee, they've already got the pre-built knowledge bases. They've already got the pre-built AI employees. All they have to do is scrape the website, the customer's website. So basically insert the URL into the knowledge base, the URL scraper, insert the customer's website into it. It will build the additional information for them. Then if there's any additional information they want to add from the onboarding forms, opening hours maybe or whatever, or a special offer, they can add that in on the customer information sections. That's all they have to do. They don't have to deal with any of the training. All they have to do is take the basic customer information, which is provided by the customer, which is simply putting their website into the scraper, done. The AI employee is customized. Then they upload the customer's onboarding form. I guess I kind of covered that there, but they upload the customer's onboarding form into the AI employee. They set it live on their website, phone, and their social channels. That's all they have to do. These are execution steps. They're not thinking. They're not creating AI employees. They're not creating. Because you have access to those pre-built systems. Everybody else out there who doesn't have access to those pre-built systems has to get a VA to actually build the workflows because they don't know how to do it. Or they've got to sit for hours messing around doing it themselves. Or they're going to argue with the AI builder and try and get them to do it, or they use ChatGPT to try and do it and they don't realize that it's not up to date with GoHighLevel. It doesn't work like that. ChatGPT gives old information. Funnily enough, if you go to GoHighLevel and go through their own support channels, the support teams use ChatGPT and give you outdated information. That's why when you have us as the intermediary between the two, we can tell them it's nonsense because we've seen it 100 times. We know what we're looking for. So all of this is your moat, right? If you think about your advantage over everybody else, this is your moat. This is what sets you apart. This is why you can do it and nobody else can. This is why you can run that kind of business, get it to those levels, and nobody else can because they have to do everything themselves. Whereas you have the opportunity at your fingertips to be able to run this level of operation with a VA and do it successfully. That's the beauty of this entire system. There isn't really any creative process required here because all of the thinking and all the custom stuff, all the custom information, all the stuff that you might have to think about have already been set up. All the variables with an AI employee, all of the scenarios like an emergency handover, all of that stuff has already been thought of. It's already been taken care of. And I just want to point out exactly what you have access to. The power of the systems you have access to, they're unparalleled. It's incredibly powerful. This is why we can do the review system at no cost via email or for $27 and nobody else can. They try and sell it for $497. That's why, because they have to fulfill it themselves. Whereas you and I, we have it pre-built. All we have to do is set it up. That's why we can have a better offer than everybody else. That's why at the moment where when you're generating leads, you're the same as everybody else, right? Everybody's trying to get that customer. The customer goes to the person with the best offer. Well, that's why you can have the best offer and nobody else can. That's the magic in it. Simply because you've got the system pre-built. So you can bring that customer in when nobody else is willing to do so. Not because you're willing to work for free, but because you've got the leverage to do it. Faster, better, simpler, easier, with less effort than everybody else, because we're simply setting them up in GoHighLevel and using the pre-built system. It is very little work. This is our unique advantage. This is your unique advantage compared to everybody else outside of this bubble. So you can have multiple clients per day being set up without any issues. This opens up your time entirely. So a few weeks ago, when we gave you, or I gave you the elite operating system, you know, when I showed you the depth that we go to, and I said, look, this is going to be overwhelming, but this is elite level stuff, or this is top level stuff. Now you can see how we operate, right? Now you can see how you and I can both operate at that hyper speed that nobody else can. This is the unique advantage. You can literally operate like a company with 10 employees at that speed and at that level, simply because you have the automation and the workflow all set up for this already. You can work like a company 10 times your size without having the same expenses as a company 10 times your size, which means your profitability skyrockets. Then when it comes to sales calls internally, the Ascension calls, they are not sales calls. They are warm. They are customers who know who you are. They have broken the trust barrier. They have paid you money, received the product, had a positive experience. Therefore, the decision to buy, it's not a decision to buy from you. It's a decision to buy from you again, which is a very different decision, completely different. That's why upsells work so well in sales funnels. The reason 80% of people buy the upgrade versus 6 to 10% buying a product from a funnel is because they're not deciding to buy, they're deciding to buy more. They have already made the decision to buy. That's why it works so well. So with the Ascension calls, they're warm, the customers know who you are, they are ascending because they want the outcome faster. You don't have to sell them, you simply have to identify the gaps. And remember, if you want more depth on that, get the SOP and have a look at the training from last week as well. This makes the sales process for your high ticket product so much easier. You then have the time availability to take sales calls, to ascend people, because you're not endlessly following up with them. They already know the system. They're educated on it already. They know you, they just want it installed faster. This revolutionizes how your business works. And hey, if they're on the $97 per month or the $197 per month do-it-yourself plan, and your customer service is delivered by something special that we're going to be releasing to you, and let's say that something special is already trained to identify problems and opportunities and naturally encourage someone to book that call with you to ascend to the managed plan, that would be even easier, right? That would be even easier if it was already pre-trained to warm that person up and book them into your calendar to be ascended naturally, and you didn't have to do anything when the customer is looking for that customer support, but your AI is capable of taking over. That'd be pretty special too, but I'm just saying that. Now, eventually, if you do want a salesperson in there, you can even put that in there. So you can get to a point where you don't even have to do the sales call at all. So you can run it with one person, a VA, and if you want to be literally doing whatever you want and not working at all, and all you have to do on a daily basis is record 2 videos, you don't even have to do the sales calls. The reason why that works is because you don't need what I would call, what's the word? Basically, you don't need that elite level salesperson, right? You don't need that unicorn, the person that's incredible at sales. No, because the customer is not needing to be sold. They simply are ascending and wanting the product faster. They don't need to know the details of the product. They already want it. They just want to go faster, which means you don't have to have an elite level salesperson, which means you don't have to find someone. So much easier. It's like an order taker. Now, you can also have that AI employee handling the customer support for your clients as well, especially the ones in the do-it-yourself plan. So it can take care of everything for you. So when that customer's on the platform, it does your customer service for you. And as I said, that might just be something that we have coming for you pretty soon. But I can't say too much on that one at the moment. This is the complete framework that works. And it's the framework of a one person plus a virtual assistant business model that actually works, because all of your systems are pre-built and each aspect is taken care of. You don't need big sales teams. You don't need appointment setters. You don't need copywriters, automation builders, customer service, marketers, funnel builders, and so on. You don't need any of it. All this is taken care of automatically with these systems. This is the magic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this framework into an SOP for you. And this means your entire business model will be in a playbook that you can refer to. It means that you can keep it in front of you as you build. Remember, you don't have to build this perfectly from day one. This is designed to be built, the building blocks of the house put together. This is your finished product. And honestly, this could grow far, far beyond multi-six figures, far beyond it. But think about how profitable this actually is. It's crazy. This is the beauty of the machine. You can have this operating, and this is the gold at the end of the road. This is what sets you apart from everybody else. And it's a crystal clear process on exactly how you build your business and how your business operates without you and removing all the variables. This is like a productized business with the benefits of a service business, because you see, a service business has a much easier time of acquiring customers, right? That's why people run them. It's much easier to acquire customers, but it's much harder to run, much more time consuming. A productized business is not time consuming at all, but it's much harder to get those customers. So what we're doing here is we're combining the best of both worlds, okay? We've got the productized nature with the benefits of a service business. It's the perfect storm. And this is the exact structure and framework of an extremely profitable business with one person, a VA, and a little bit of automation and AI. Now, the beauty of this machine is in the sale, actually. So your next steps are to start putting this into action, okay? I'm going to do the SOP, I'll send it out, and you have to put the building blocks into play. Now remember, you've got an option, you've got a choice. You can either do the hard work and put it into play so that you can get to the point where you can have this machine running, or you can not do that, and you will never get to that point. So the decision is relatively straightforward, okay? You either do it or you don't do it. Is it going to be easy? Nothing is ever easy. Is it going to be extremely hard? No, because it's all pre-built for you. But you have to decide whether you do it or you don't do it. The only way to get to the goal at the end of the road is if you put the first steps in place, right? You've got to start doing it. So I'm going to create the playbook. Then your project is to put it together piece by piece with me. Put your business together piece by piece. And one thing I didn't really mention too much, because it's at the end of the road, but it's nice to know we've got a golden finish line, right? None of this business actually relies on you, which means it becomes a highly valuable, sellable asset. The reason people like software companies is because you have monthly recurring revenue and the business is the software. It doesn't rely on one person. Anybody can run that. The benefit of this business, or the downside of the marketing business, is that it does rely on one person. But with this business, you get the benefits of monthly recurring revenue. You get the benefits of the service industry with the ease of the sale. You get benefits of automated customer acquisition. You get the benefits of diversification. You get the benefits of it not relying on one person at all, which means you can sell at a much higher multiple. And it's a far more attractive investment for any investor, which is your is a business.
Hello, hello. We lost you.
Usually built.
Not working, super robotic. We can't hear you anymore, Neil.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay, what was the last part you heard?
Can't remember.
Okay.
I heard
Vince,
you about being sellable to other institutions by
Okay.
building it out and not relying on us, Niall.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. So basically, softwares want to recurring revenue, but they have low cash flow, right? They're often in the negative for quite a length of time. The idea for those businesses is on exit value, but their cash flow is very poor. Strong cash flow businesses are typically service-based, which means the exit value is not very good, but they get the benefit of the cash flow profitability early on. The beauty of this model is we sit right at that intersection, okay? We get the benefit of a hyper-profitable cash flow because of how we've structured this, but we also get the benefits of the monthly recurring revenue and no reliance on key people. So we get the benefits of the exit value while also getting the benefits of the cash flow. A beautiful scenario. So you can see, hopefully, with the breaking up part here, which I do apologize for. Again, I don't know what's going on. I've got full bars here, but we're obviously the internet gods are not playing ball with us today. But regardless, hopefully you can see the way this is structured is not designed to be something that is a quick cash grab and that's all it is. This is designed to be the legacy, right? This is designed where we've even thought about it to the length of you want to be able to retire and shut up shop, right? You want to be able to take that cash, that lump of cash when you sell it. Well, the only way you can do that is if you structure it properly. And everybody always thinks about it, worries about it. Well, listen, it's already been structured. You can see how it removes all those risks and those variables and those blocks and limitations. That's the magic of it. That's exactly what we're doing. That's the beauty of this system. That's why we're doing it. And it's not a case of you're walking down a road, not sure where that finish line is, or not having a clear vision, or what do I do when I want to retire? Do I have to keep working every day? No. The pathway's already there. They're right in front of you. So that wraps us up for the training today. I'm going to open up to some questions now. If anybody has any questions, now I apologize again with the breaking up of the line. Hopefully you caught most of that at least. And as I said, I'll put it into an SOP, so you're going to have it as a playbook anyway. But that'll hopefully take any of the breaking up aspects out, and it'll be very clear for you when you have it on paper, and we're not battling with the gods of the internet. But Vince, what are you saying in the chat there with regard to your accent? You're like your USS Mark Enterprise Scotty from Star Trek.
Niall, I have a quick question for you.
Go for it.
On the flywheel on income, I noticed something, and I just want to make sure, activity-wise, I'm putting in the effort and doing the right things. In the 18K blueprint, and this maybe has changed or evolved since what you do now, there's an emphasis on friend requests and Facebook and LinkedIn and everything else as part of that, on top of emailing. So I just noticed, there's this emphasis on, building out email, but also doing the ladder funnel, but there's no emphasis on trying to build up that friend requests either on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram outreach that's built into this model here. That's one question. So
I would say, I would say definitely do it. It's never going to hurt. The one thing I don't want to do is overwhelm too much. Okay, so I don't want to have 5 different things flying around, but that will not hurt you in any way, especially on Instagram. Facebook is fine. That's okay. That's absolutely fine. Instagram, though, is definitely where I would recommend, and it's going to be helped by your content too, right? Because they see the message and they look at your profile and they can digest content, nurture. That will improve the results. So it definitely will not hurt. I would definitely recommend you do it. I just don't want to add too much overwhelm to the plate when there's already quite a bit, there's a bit of stuff going on there.
No, yeah, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't seeing that the plan changed here and I should be shifting, because that's part of, I'm trying to follow the plan that's been laid out here. So that was question.
Not at all.
Oh, okay. Because I know things evolve here from time to time. Question 2 is, I know you guys pushed out, as you just showed a couple examples of having some AI employees for certain niches, and how easy it is to just implement, hey, go after this person for a review or implement it for this. But there's other niches that wasn't rolled out for, so it's not so like the chiropractor industry. I don't think we have that done. So I don't know if that stuff's coming for the other industries that are out there. Like I think Alyssa said she's going to build it. It just hasn't come out yet. But is there a plan to get all 26 completed and rolled out at some point, or just we got to choose from the ones you rolled out from us and shift gears and make sure we're marketing to them?
No,
that if we are offering a $27 product, it is so quick and easy for us to deliver on.
The only difference with like the plumber pack is just that the AI employee itself is built, which is just basically turning it on, right? There isn't really, from the 26 already, all the knowledge bases have already been built.
No, I'm talking specifically for the AI employee.
That's just adding the voice, basically, right? That's all that is. You don't have to do any of the training. It's already trained. You just literally have to connect the knowledge base to an AI employee. So we will be building them for all 2026, but it's not going to hold you back. You do technically have that system. There's just one little step that you have to do. That's all.
All right. So then that would just be reaching out to you or reaching out to her on what that little step is. Because as you know, that's not my.
It's also in the legacy training as well, actually, too. On top of that, it's just creative. It's just when you go into the AI voices section and GoHighLevel, and you want to create an AI employee, it asks you which knowledge base you want to choose, and you just choose the chiropractic one. That's basically all you really have to do.
Okay. All right. I can take it off. No worries. All right. Thank you.
No worries. Oh, right. I had to stop sharing screen because I think that's also partly to do with the choppiness of the connection. Obviously, when you share screen, I think it impacts things. So I might have to find a solution for that going forwards when I do travel. But anyway, does anybody else have any questions they wanted to cover? Feel free. Any comments, questions? Doesn't have to be about this. It can be about anything. Feel free to ask. First come, first served.
Yep.
Is that Vince? Go for it.
Yep. So now while you were talking, I already sent that email in to support to get that SOP.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you had it made or not. It sounded like you're working on it still yet.
No, we have it made. I just have to. It's a PDF.
Okay.
I have it, so I have to send it. I just reply with the attached. So I'll get that one over to you. Then
I
don't have
also-
a support email, but I know you've sent it now, so I'll email you. Basically.
Okay. So the other question I had, I run into a problem. I think it was yesterday. So I was setting up a client's account and I hadn't built their website yet. So I had set their account up with Cloudflare, you know what you do in the back office of GoHighLevel. But then when I got ready to upload my website that I had created for them, it gave me a 404 page, something was it, 404 page not found error. So I actually had to go into Cloudflare and remove the settings that was pointing to GoHighLevel server. So what I asked Sarah or whomever whoever reads it, I was asking them if I was going to ask you if there's some way that, well, if you guys could give us like some instruction. I would like to just, for SEO purposes, I would like to be able to just build the website and then just website, whether it's WordPress or HTML, and just put the code with GoHighLevel's code either embedded or put it in the header or the footer tag, whatever I need to do in order to get GoHighLevel to work with that. I would rather do that. So I was going to ask if you could maybe consider on going into some training like that or have them do something like that, because that's where I'm finding my problems is right now is what I had experienced yesterday.
What code are you talking about?
Well, like the embed code, like, so for instance, if you want to get I mostly build WordPress, and when you want to get your AI voice to work, then they have a plugin, lead connector plugin. And then as far as like, like your form codes, like you build a form builder.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll see what we can do. It's obviously we're at the mercy a lot of the time with any limitations that GoHighLevel have, but we can do our best to try and figure out workarounds or ways that we can do things. But yeah, we'll see what we can do for you.
Okay. And I don't want to take up everyone else's time. The second thing I was going to ask you, it slipped my mind. I'll come back to it.
Okay, no worries. All right. Anybody else have a question they wanted to ask?
Yes,
Olivia?
just a quick one. Well, first of all, thank you for me. I've after watching Legacy, I thought it was going to take way more time to set up the AI employee. So in fact, you remove that, and yeah, in my mind, it was way longer than just doing these few steps. So that's really good. The question is it possible to just put in the prompt instruction, like, because you of course have all the knowledge database in English, but if I say, okay, my client is all answers should be in French, for example, is he gonna take all the information from the knowledge database and just turn that into French when he connects with the visitors?
I actually don't know. I actually haven't tried that. I think I'm not sure is the answer, because obviously there's two ways. You would either do that or you would just have to just translate and re-upload the documents.
Because I know you can switch, because in a way for my South African guy, they have French and English, and I add the chat bot at the beginning, the AI voice, asking, do you want to continue in English or would you prefer in French? And if they were answering en français, and then he was switching to French. So I guess he was still pulling the same information from the knowledge database and format.
Actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, it might be able to actually, because the knowledge base is not really. The knowledge base isn't really fed to the customer, right? It's like the AI employee fishes into the knowledge base and then pulls out the answer. So if it fishes in, if it's speaking in French and it fishes, then
so if he knows that he needs to fishes this information, but then give them into another language, I guess it should be.
Yeah, because it would basically be like, if you think about it like you think about the mechanics, it's like 2 trigger points, right? It's action 1, fish for information. Action 2, get information. Action 3, okay, now we need action 3, communicate to client. Action 4, client speaks in French, so reply in French.
Yeah,
I actually think it probably could.
Okay, I just have to make sure. I will make a little test to see that, because then it's good. It's great.
All right. Vince, did I come back to you?
Yeah, if no one else has a question, I will refer. I'll defer if no one else has a question. I'll wait a minute.
Okay. Anybody else want to jump in before Vince? Nope. Looks like you're free to go, Vince.
Okay. I was also running into some problems. I don't know if everyone else is having this problem, but I was running in problems with the AI studio. It seems like now that everybody is getting wind of it, it's starting to slow down, and it even has that at the top. We are experiencing blah blah blah. You know, a lot of people are using it in so many words. So I was wondering if anyone else had that same problem. If anyone's using it.
Yeah, we don't use it extensively, to be honest, obviously, because we've got a lot of stuff pre-built already, so we don't really have to use it so maybe we're not probably the hyper users that are out there, because we already built all, I suppose, the hard way.
Yeah.
So I've not noticed it personally, but yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, I put you. I've mentioned to you. Was it GenSpark?
Yes, you did. Yeah, GenSpark. Yeah.
Okay. So so that I was having problems with. I'm just saying this just in case anyone have that same problem. I was even having problems with it cloning a website, just flat out, just cloning a website as is. It didn't clone it all the way, and it didn't clone like the image that was a hero. It cloned it, made a different image there. So, but I've been using Abacus, and I've switched to Abacus. It's only like $20 for like the everything you can get at that, and it's worked really great. I mean, build websites no problem, as long as you have the questions. And I'm finding the more you have it interview you on what you want done, then the better outcome you'll have. So if anyone is using the AI Studio and you run into problems, you may want to look at Abacus LLM. It's like just look for Abacus LLM chat.
All right, yeah, appreciate it, because that was GenSpark was a good shout, so I'll trust you on that one as well. Although it's slowed down, actually, it has actually slowed down quite a bit recently, probably last month or so. It's really kind of had issues. But
I think as it moving forward, the more people find out about these things, and the more stuff that they put on it, and they weight them down. And then if they get sold by, like Manus got sold, they got bought by Meta, then there's no telling, now you're getting all the Facebook people, whereas it used to be like, backdoor for most people. Nobody knew about it. But now once it gets word, then yeah, it starts slowing down the more people you put on it.
The Meta one is absolutely, yes, Austin, it's been recorded. The Meta one is terrible. Absolutely. Obviously we run like the plumber packs and we run like HVAC and things. Customers ask questions and it thinks we're a plumbing company and has this automatic response, and it's so fast though that it catches them before we can even reply. So the person's so confused and we can't stop it. I've turned it off and it still goes. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, back when I started, you could get like 300 credits a night. You'd use them if you want to use them up, and then it'd refresh at like 8 p.m. our time. It was working like pretty good. And then I got on the Abacus, and I haven't been back on there since. And then Meta bought it. I was like, oh yeah, here comes the here comes the brick on the sandwich. It's gonna smash everything.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. But one sec, just even lost in the email here. Yeah, it has been a nightmare, to be quite frank with you. That it just won't turn off. It just, nothing happened. Nothing you do, you click the buttons, doesn't turn off. So the joys. All right. Anybody else have any further questions? No? Okay. We will wrap up the workshop then. On that note, I will get that SOP prepared for it so that, you're welcome, Vince, so that you can, so basically if there's any chopping of this record, like obviously the signal stuff, I definitely think it was the screen share that did it, because now it seems fine. So yeah, I'll get it chopped. I'll get the SOP up so that maybe fixes the problem of any choppy connections, and get the recording up for you. As I always say, a recording of this length, as usual, Google will take 24 hours to send it to me, so it won't be available till at least tomorrow. And because I don't know why they send it via email, so I've got to wait for the recording. And yeah, Vince, I'll definitely do a little bit of a report. He is taking us to his house, well, basically his penthouse apartment, for some cigars this evening and some steak. I don't know if anyone's tried Steak 48 in Charlotte. It's a pretty nice place, but yeah, he's taking us there. So I'll definitely let you know the details of our conversation, just like I did last time. I did like the 30 things I learned. I'll do that again. Or maybe, who knows, it will be 30. Maybe it'll be 100, or maybe it'll be 3, but I'm sure I'll get something for you. Not just some steak. Yeah, I'll report back. Yeah, this guy. I'll report back for you. So I'll let you know. All right. Thank you for coming, everybody. I apologize for the connection. Hopefully that won't happen. But yeah, I'll get the SOP done. All right. See you, everyone. I'll speak to you all later. See ya.